Hello, hello. I hope you can hear me and see me well. First of all, thank you for joining our session today. I'm really glad so many of you could join us, and it makes me really happy to see so many people excited about this topic, and yeah, maybe to no surprise as how much the AI platforms and everything around AI has taken the world by storm right now. More and more people are trying to get a grasp of it, and basically this is the scope of our session today. So because we have a long session and so many things to talk about, I will start right away. I'm preparing this. You should see it any minute now. Okay. So let's dive into the session together. As we kick off into revolutionizing operational efficiency, or how to unleash the power of AI large language models. Our main key points of this AI exploration that we're doing together would be to have an aspirational, safe, and inspirational exploration. So let's look at the agenda. We'd start with this welcome and opening remarks. We then dive into demystifying AI and large language models. We will then explore some cutting-edge AI trends and technologies, showcasing AI APIs and tools for enhanced efficiency. We will tell you more about our success stories, especially our latest AI transformation at Pentalog, or VETA for the people who watched the commercial. We will then have a Q&A session at the end and some closing remarks. About the Q&A session, I want to establish this from the beginning that because this will be quite a long session, I will only take questions at the end in this space dedicated to be sure that I do manage to fill everything in time. So you can ask questions at any point, but I will try to answer all of them in a slot at the end. The main objectives of this event are to provide a comprehensive understanding of AI and large language models, showcase the potential of AI technologies for operational efficiency, share Pentalog's experience with the success story of AI implementation, and encourage everyone to explore AI technologies in their own organization. Okay, so it will be a long presentation again. Have a seat, stay comfortable, stay hydrated, and let's start. First and foremost, what are AI and large language models? So starting with the AI, artificial intelligence is a field of computer science that focuses on creating machines that can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, perception, and using language. AI encompasses several subfields, including machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, computer vision, robotics, and expert systems, to name just a few. Machine learning, the subset of AI, enables machines to learn from data, improve their performance, and make predictions or produce outputs without being explicitly programmed to do so. So it's actually a little more than those if-else statements that it's in the popular belief. It's actually based on probabilities and predictions, but we will get more into this later. Now, deep learning is a subset of machine learning that uses artificial neural networks, something like artificial brains with artificial neurons and connections that resemble synapses in the brain and everything, to model and solve complex problems. It achieves great power and flexibility by learning to represent the world as a hierarchy of concepts, with each concept defined in relation to simpler concepts. Deep learning can be specifically useful for tasks such as speech recognition, decision-making, and natural language processing. Now, about natural language processing, this is another subfield of machine learning that gives machines the ability to read and understand human language, frequently by using deep learning methods, libraries, or algorithms, and some straightforward applications of natural language processing include information retrieval, text classification, or even sentiment analysis. Okay, now, large language models are deep learning models designed to understand, generate, and manipulate human language. These models are pre-trained on vast amounts of data to help them learn the complexities and linkages of the language. Those models usually achieve state-of-the-art performance across various natural language processing tasks. Now, large language models are foundational machine learning models that use the deep learning methods, libraries, and algorithms to process and understand natural language. Those can perform many natural language processing tasks, such as text generalization, summarization, translation, and any other thing you use ChatGPT for, which is basically a large language model. Okay. Now, what are the relation between AI, large language model, and increasing operational efficiency? Well, let's look at some existing cases. How was AI and large language models used in certain circumstances to raise operational efficiency? For language tasks, we're automating language-related tasks such as customer service, content creation, and translation using large language models could increase efficiency and cut costs for business. Analyze and process information, where AI technologies can boost efficiency, reduce costs, and grow sales and profitability by transforming how enterprises can analyze and process information. In autonomous operations, where the increasing penetration of AI and autonomous devices into many aspects of life is altering basic operations and decision-making within organizations and improving efficiency and response time. An applicability from IBM into intelligence automation system, where it can be used, you can use data to automate workflows for faster, more efficient processes, and can be used to predict and adjust production to respond to changes in supply and demand. And a common use case that you maybe also tried with ChatGPT to reduce errors. This has been used in many industries such as healthcare, finance, and manufacturing, leading to improved efficiency and accuracy in the planning cycles. At this moment, those were just some examples, but AI plays a critical role for innovation and growth because it can help businesses transform and deliver better solutions. AI and data analytics can be used to fuel growth and drive innovation. Some changes that can be driven are by increasing commercial applications, improving customer experience, and enabling new business models entirely. As such, AI presents tremendous opportunities for economic development and can transform the world. This is also a driving force behind modern innovation and can help businesses become sort of future-proof and sustainable in the long term. But before this, let's address some common fears that many people have about current AI systems. I will start with a quote from Harvard Business Review saying that AI should augment human intelligence and not replace it. A statement which I thoroughly agree and I'm in sentiment with. At this moment, AI can help humans work more efficiently and effectively by automating repetitive tasks and providing insights that humans might miss. Gartner has wrote a very comprehensive report on this, where they debunked several AI myths, including the idea that AI will replace jobs. There are studies, more thorough studies on this, where they tackled this subject more in detail, and they say that, yeah, there may be 85 million jobs displaced by the shift of labor between humans and machines by 2025. But then again, it will create a new 95 million roles, which this by itself, it's quite amazing. AI systems and robots in generally are meant to boost productivity, reduce costs, and improve the quality and range of products that the companies can produce. As such, AI will not replace people, but rather people using AI will replace people who are not using AI. And efficiency, especially operational efficiency, is the main reason why. Okay. Now that we established this, let's look together at the latest AI advancements. Well, this landscape in 2023 is really huge. The AI landscape evolved tremendously every day in the last 6 months. There are more tools and libraries spawning now every day than there were JavaScript libraries before. It's the landscape becomes bigger and bigger and evolves at a pace that it's really hard even for experienced people to stay on top. But let's take the most important trends at this moment in 2023 about this. And those are the swift expansion of AI technology and creativity, which is basically this. They are growing very, very fast. The advancements in generative AI capabilities, and if you played with GPT-4, Claude Plus, Midjourney 5, and everything released lately, you saw how fast and powerful they advance. We expect serious intensified regulations in the AI sector. In the US, they are working on a law on this. Even President Biden personally got an interest into this. In Europe, the same. Countries like Italy banned ChatGPT. So it's for how complex it is. It's a highly unregulated market, and we expect some serious regulations in the next few months. A greater focus on understandable AI system. So it's is this where everyone talks about it, but really few people actually get the grasp of it, because indeed it's a really complex topic, and we expect more and more people putting a focus on trying to make it understandable for everyone, because it can help everyone, even without knowledge of AI. And I would say maybe as an output of this, enhanced synergy between human and AI collaboration. More and more people will rely on AI system to help them do repetitive tasks. Okay. So I've also included some trends, some applicative trends, the most common ones that are being used lately. There are a lot of them realistically, but I've chosen 5 just so you could get an idea. So there are several successful projects around augmented workforce, where machines and smart cognitive functionality are used to boost human abilities and skills. For instance, IBM Watson. In marketing, where AI tools can help determine which leads are worth pursuing and what value can be expected from potential customers. This is an example implementation from Salesforce with Einstein. In hardware engineering, where AI tools can provide predictive maintenance, letting us know ahead of time when machines will need servicing or repairing. You can look at IBM's Maximal Asset Monitor. In knowledge and learning industries, an application where in industries such as law, AI tools can help sort through the ever-growing amount of data to find the information needed for a particular task, like the Luminance tool, or even Duolingo implemented GPT-4 to assist with learning new languages. And of course, creative AI, where AI is used to create art, music, poetry, plays, video games, everything. And I think this you saw the most. Tools like Midjourney, DALL-E, NVIDIA's Canvas, and Stable Diffusion, and many more in this direction. Okay. So there are several adoptions ongoing on this, but there are also some challenges when adopting AI. So far we established that AI tools can help businesses boost efficiency to process automation, improve the speed or consistency of service, use customer insights to inform decision-making, and uncover opportunities for new products and services. As such, AI and machine learning can help companies find innovative ways to help business performance, but there are also many challenges faced when adopting AI. Some of the most common are data challenges, because AI feeds heavily on information, but there is a lot that could go wrong with all the essential data to train an AI. So if there's no proper data architecture or proper data governance in place to sustain it, it can rarely produce the expected results. Transparency challenges, as I said a few moments earlier, it is still hard, although reasonably less, to understand how AI works. Workforce reception challenges, where it's hard to hire the right people since most adopters don't know the technicalities that involves AI. Expectations versus reality challenges, because not so many people truly understand how AI works. The realities of what it can actually do may not match what businesses are actually expecting the AI to do. We are not at the point of an artificial general intelligence yet, although it is highly desired and expected by most businesses nowadays. And of course, business use case challenges, because without the proper technical expertise, counseling, or technology maturity perspective in place, it's hard to find the use case for AI that will actually benefit your business more. Although all this being said, still the biggest challenge faced by businesses in AI adoption today is expertise scarcity. Deloitte's global study of AI early adopters reported that 68% of such businesses report a moderate to extreme AI skills gap. Also, a survey by Gartner also revealed that the biggest challenge in AI adoption is the lack of skills. Again, in this Deloitte study, they said that by 2024, the US is projected to face a shortage of 250,000 data scientists based on the current supply and demand. So hiring such engineers or scientists, it's quite a challenge, except when the business decides to outsource their AI projects. As such, the businesses need to pay quite an important pillar to continuous learning and adaptation. Businesses need to support learning, while employees need to stay curious. For businesses, encouraging employees to keep learning and exploring AI advancement can be beneficial both for them and for the employees. According to a study from Harvard Business Review, organizations with a strong learning culture are 92% more likely to develop novel products and processes, 52% more productive, and 56% more likely to be the first to market with their products. For employees, exploring AI advancements is basically investing in your own future. And AI can help you make better decisions, automate tasks, and progress in your career. According to a Western Governors University study, there will be more job opportunities opening up for employees who have knowledge of AI. I do expect this to be applicable, like you put today in non-technical positions. It would maybe matter to have Excel skills. I would say that at the same level, it will matter to have some basic knowledge or some basic way to make your work more efficient by using AI. For this, and for the curious out there, I've put a couple of courses, some, I would say, accredited courses, mostly from Harvard and Stanford, to kickstart your learning journey into AI. I highly recommend them, especially the first from Andrew Ng, which is one of the grandfathers of AI. So if you're curious and want to start learning, getting into a course, I recommend you this, and maybe also in this order, and they are all free. Okay. Now, to get a little more technical, let's look into some AI tools that offer APIs or some kind of libraries that you can implement and use in your project. So I'm addressing more the technical people here and the developers or scientists here. This is by no means a comprehensive list for this. It's I chose certain of them only by preference, but there are tons of alternatives. But sticking to my personal preferences, I've put some tools here for GPT, large language models, GPT-like. You can you know already about OpenAI. I have also put here Anthropic's Cloud, which I think it's on par with OpenAI in so many from so many points of view, and of course the whole library of models, which is Hugging Face, that I'm sure you can find your model in most cases there. I put options for creating your own machine learning model. If you're into this, you can use Meta's PyTorch. It's OpenAI's GPT and models were created using PyTorch. So if you want to give OpenAI a run for their money, you can go for PyTorch, as well as Google's TensorFlow, which powers many Google systems, AI systems like BAR and many more. I've put some cloud services like GCP's AutoML, AWS SageMaker, the newest AWS Bedrock, which has just been released and it's really amazing. Some image models like Midjourney, some video models like DeepBrain AI's AI Studio, which is basically, and I know some of you had this question, this is the tool that I used to create the videos for presenting for the commercials of this event, and some audio models. So those all models are based only on preferences, and all have a way or another to be integrated into any project. So this is why I chose those. Those can be integrated in your own projects and be used in your own projects, and they are quite nice tools. But as I said, there are so many others. There are things released every day, maybe more lately. There are some tools, AI tools directories that you can use, such as Futurepedia, AI Zoner, AI Collection, but those are just a few of those AI tools discoveries, and I would recommend you to look at this and find your own tool that suits best your use case. Now, to not bore completely the less technical audience from this, I also put some tools that help you maybe by a little, maybe more, to enhance your day-to-day productivity. Those can be used by anyone and are tools such as an alternative to search, using Perplexity AI or the Bing Chat, which are basically ways to talk with an AI like ChatGPT, which both use behind the scenes, but also have an internet connection and allowing them to search results on the internet and combine this with the response from GPT. Test multiple models, such as ChatGPT or Cloud, but all in one platform with Poe.com. It's a very nice tool created by Quora and aggregates several models in one platform. Generate images easy with Midjourney and more easier even with OpenAI's DALL-E 2. Which can use even directly on OpenAI platform or via the Bing images generator, which incorporates it. Get help drawing with autodraw.com, summarize web articles with summit.it, go through PDFs easier with askyourpdf.com, and remove background images from videos or images with removal AI or on screen. I would say that most of those tools have reasonable costs or are free. Okay. Now, as a showcase goes, I choose one of those tools. I choose OpenAI to look a little together into the technical aspects of this tool. So, how we can work technically with the OpenAI models. So there are three main ways. One, using API calls. API has a very nicely built API, well documented, that you can use from anything that can do an API request, from Postman to your own favorite programming language. Again, in programming, if you're on Python or JavaScript, they also provide some official software development kits for it that you can easily integrate this into your project. But there are also community-supported libraries. I think there are for any language out there, so you could try this also. Or via Microsoft Azure using the Microsoft semantic kernel, which provides some benefits than using this directly, but also some restrictions. I do invite you to check it out. I think it's quite amazing and makes working with OpenAI's models a little easier. Okay, let's choose the API because it can be used by any technical person with any language, and let's look at how an API request to OpenAI looks like. So, as you can see, it's a classic API request in curl. Anyone can do this, where you just put the token that you get from your OpenAI account, and then you have a couple of parameters, such as model, where you select the model to use, the prompt, which is the text you enter in the chat when you talk with ChatGPT, and some others like temperature, max token, stop P, frequency penalty, present penalty, and actually many, many more. As the parameters list is quite a comprehensive one, and each parameter affects drastically the prompts. I will not go in details with all of them. I would rather encourage you to look in the documentation and read about each and every parameter. But I do take one of them to look at it together. And I would take temperature because it's one of the most common parameters that you will see even outside OpenAI, and you'll see in many, many models, large language models when you use them. So what's temperature? First and foremost, temperature governs the randomness and creativity of responses. Lower temperature produces more deterministic and straightforward, sometimes conservative responses, while high temperature encourages creativeness, but also increases the chance of hallucinations. And as a bracket here, for the ones not familiar with hallucinations, is the term we use when AI invents stuff that he's sure about, but it's not actually true or does not actually exist. Okay, why it works like this is because large language models are created to predict the next best word in a sequence based on the probabilities in the given prompt. With a temperature of 0, meaning the lowest temperature, the highest probability word will be chosen because it's more conservative. While with the higher temperature levels, it may select words with a lower probability, leading to more variation and implicitly more creativity. To take an example, I created one prompt in 3 different temperature levels with lowest, medium, and highest temperature, and asked OpenAI, what is the meaning of life? With the lowest temperature, of course, it was very conservative in its response, pointing that it's up to each individual to decide, and it differs from person to person, while with the highest temperature, it went with pointing out some things like living meaningful lives, find purpose, personal fulfillment, develop relationships with families and friends, and so on. As parameters such as temperature highly affect the response of the model, at the same time, prompts equally influence responses too. So much that there is a skill on its own named prompt engineering, which is honestly nowadays somewhat of a must-have skill for working with AI generative models. So, prompt engineering is a concept in natural language processing that is used to improve reliability of an AI model. In prompt engineering, the description of the task that the AI is supposed to accomplish is embedded in the input, for example, as a question, instead of it being implicitly given. Prompt engineering typically works by converting one or more tasks to a prompt-based dataset and training a language model with what has been called prompt-based learning or just prompt learning. I invite you to read more about prompt engineering on Wikipedia, but to put it in simpler words, prompt engineering is a way to teach AI systems by clearly stating the job they need to do in the form of a question or instruction. Okay, basically what we need to know is that prompt engineering is a technique used to improve the performance of AI models. So sometimes if the AI model that you're using does not produce the desired response, it may not actually be that he is not capable of doing so, but that you haven't explicitly instructed him in the right way to do so. And if you're using models like ChatGPT, where you have no control over the parameters, if you use it from the OpenAI's chat interface, you have only prompt engineering to play with to try to get more accurate or better desirable answers. Prompt engineering has multiple applicative methods, and I will take one of them as an example. In this example, we will approach the method that's called zero shot. This method is particularly useful in math problems, and it's a powerful technique for improving the reliability of answers to prompt the model to gradually reason out the answer rather than jumping immediately to the final answer. By telling the model to think aloud, the model can be far more likely to arrive at the correct answer. There's a whole paper behind this published by Takeshi Kojima in 2022, where it says that the easiest way to prompt a model to reason out the answer is simply to prepend the answers with "let's think step by step." Something as small as this produced amazing results. For example, applying this simple trick to the multi-arithmet dataset, the authors found that only by instructing the model with "let's think step by step" quadrupled the accuracy of the model, raising from a merely 18% to almost 80%, just by adding "let's think step by step" to a math problem. So if you were ever disappointed that ChatGPT didn't solve your math problems as you expected him to do, come back to that problem and just add this. At the end of your prompt, just add "let's think step by step" and see if your results will be different. Now, there are several best practices made by OpenAI for writing prompts, which I highly recommend you to go through. They provide this on their blog. I'll leave the link for you, and you'll be surprised how, by paying attention to small things such as this, can produce amazing results in the responses of the AI models. Now, I encourage all the technical people in this audience to further explore hands-on the OpenAI platform and AI models to play with the parameters, play with the prompts, use what you learned today and further explore and test this in the OpenAI playground, which is the easiest way to test this in a browser, and where you have the possibility to configure all the parameters, all the prompts, all the everything. I also recommend the quick start tutorial and introduction from OpenAI, where they even guide you on how to build a sample, a small application that uses OpenAI, and to see how the entire process of building this would look like. For the more experienced people in the audience that are filling up for a challenge, I recommend having a look at AutoGPT, which is an experimental project to try to make GPT-4 autonomous, basically to give him a task and have him challenge himself and learn by himself how to accomplish that task. It's an amazing project. For the more senior ones out there, I highly recommend this. Also, Microsoft Jarvis, it's the most advanced, but still early project in the artificial general intelligence sector. It tried to combine multiple AI models by using ChatGPT and Hugging Face to assign the most appropriate task to the most appropriate model. It's quite amazing. I recommend you to look at this. And if you're familiar already with prompt engineering and everything, but want to get better, still don't get the best results with OpenAI, I also recommend their cookbook. It's quite big, but very rewarding, and it gives you a lot of tips and tricks on how to improve your responses. Okay, now moving forward to the AI transformations at Pentalog. Let's explore this first as a case study. And as a case study, we will start with this heading. Where using AI in tech assessments in Pentalog saved 82% of human time allocation, which this is a mind-blowing statement on its own. But let's look over the case study and start with the business needs. So the business needs were as follows. Pentalog has been experienced a decrease in the rate of self-assessment validation. In 2021, only 2% of self-assessments were not validated by the end of the year. However, in 2022, this number increased to 28%, and in 2023, 96% of self-assessments were not validated until the end of February. This, of course, has resulted in a backlog of a couple of hundred of non-validated self-assessments. The assessors, which were mostly seniors with a high cost per hour, spent an average of 1 hour per self-assessment in order to validate it. Since there were also not enough assessors available to handle this whole workload, many times assessors had to work overtime, chose to, no one forced them to, but chose to help with this and work at this. But unfortunately, they were only managing to finish this by working overtime, which it's a behavior that in Pentalog we don't approve. So it became a business need. And in addition to internal self-assessments, Pentalog also conducts external assessments. And in 2022, there were a total couple of actually many thousands external assessments. Using human assessors, it took more than 7,000 hours to validate these external assessments. The solution was that Pentalog decided to implement an AI system to help with the validation of both internal and external assessment. Where a human assessor spent 1 hour to validate an internal assessment and 2 hours for an external assessment, the AI in both cases can validate this assessment in less than 1 minute. Of course, an assessor is still needed to validate what the AI did, but this process is estimated, and in our tests lasted no more than 20 minutes, even sometimes 10 minutes. So still resulting in a significant amount of time deduction for our assessors. As such, in the conclusion of the case study, it resulted in the following benefits. So, by using the AI system to validate the backlog of hundreds of non-validated internal self-assessment, Pentalog reduced the time needed from hundreds of assessor hours to approximately 3.5 hours using AI. In our calculation, resulting in a time reduction of 98%. If we add to this still the 20 minutes per assessment that are required from our assessors, it would still only add 71 more hours, still saving a remarkable amount of time. Now, even more, let's say, sexy than this, is that for external assessment, using the AI system can reduce the time from more than 7,000 hours that we said it was the time in 2022 for the same level to just 60 hours with a time reduction of over 99%. Now, if we add to this still this average of 20 minutes per assessment, it will only add an additional of 1,200 hours, still achieving an astonishing time reduction of 82%. Of course, this solution helped Pentalog to clear the backlog and handle external assessments more efficiently while reducing the workload for our assessors. Okay. Now let's dive into this success story a little. So to explain you more how we reached there, I first have to explain you how we do tech assessments. So to understand our process of tech assessments, I will start with this. Pentalog does the external and internal assessments using the Dreyfus model of skill acquisition. If you're not familiar with this, I highly recommend reading Pragmatic Thinking and Learning by Andy Hunt. But in short, this means that a certain level is assigned on each skill of a certain role based on the candidate's experience or implicitly description of that particular skill. As such, a large language model pre-trained on the Dreyfus model provides a solid foundation for evaluating this, or at least in theory. Because we had the exception where Pentalog didn't follow the Dreyfus model 100% as is, because it brought certain improvements to it from the many more than 10 years, I think, from using this model, by introducing a new level and adapting the understanding of certain levels. Now, if you take a large language model which was pre-trained on Dreyfus, you would get Dreyfus right, but we wouldn't be aware of the changes brought to this model by Pentalog. And this is how fine-tuning came into play. Now, we first, of course, tried with prompt engineering. We tried using the few shots method, which is similar to zero shot, except that it just brings certain examples. It shows the AI with the teaching by example how to respond, but then we realized there are so many skills, and providing examples in one prompt to all those skills led to so many huge prompts that they become no longer feasible and would still not produce the desired result. Now, further studying this, we saw research papers that argue that fine-tuning produces better results, even on smaller models, than prompt engineering large models, which this is quite an interesting thing on its own. As such, after doing certain tests, even comparing prompt engineering and fine-tuning, and even fine-tuning smaller models and seeing that it's indeed producing better results than prompt engineering for our specific case, being tied to feeding data, we decide to build our own model on top of an existing model by fine-tuning. And this is where our model comes into play. Our model validating every talent assessment, or VETA, that you already saw in the commercials. VETA is a fine-tuned model built on top of OpenAI's DaVinci, which is basically also the foundation model of ChatGPT. VETA is a model that validates each Dreyfus skill individually based on the comment, this individual description or experience of a person with a certain skill of his role. We train VETA on more than 60,000 skills from our database, of course, paying attention to not share any sensitive data. This also allowed us to train VETA to be more pessimistic or strict than we would usually be in certain circumstances. And to be honest, it was also partly a result of the fact that an AI model is more doing objective comparisons rather than bringing any subjectiveness into place. And another amazing fact is that VETA can be corrected, and it learns from the corrections made by the human assessor. So every time VETA does a mistake and a human assessor comes and says, no, you did this wrong, I will change this, it's enough for the human assessor to just change the level assigned by VETA, and VETA knows she did a mistake and learns from this and gets better the next time she will have to do this. Using the confusion matrix, which is the reliable way to test machine learning model, testing VETA with this resulted in an accuracy score of 80%. So in 80% of cases, we considered that VETA was correct. And there are still a 20% that, even though we improved them quite a lot, we still consider it can be further improved. And this is still where our human assessors play an important role. But as you can see here, they still play an important role in this 20%. So our load is highly reduced, up to a point that we no longer want to have the scenario where assessors have to work overtime to do assessments. Regarding this model and its release, for us, preparing the setup for go live and integrating the model into our existing systems was quite easy, because Pentalog already followed internally a composable enterprise architecture. So we had event-driven design systems, microservices here and there, and everything that together helped the integration of a model feeding on data and producing data. And this honestly is, if you want the most important lesson learned in this, I would say that for us, it was actually the right architecture, especially the right data architecture in place, proved essential both for training the model on this data and for go-to-market. Because training the model, it's more than just you won't give the model access to your database, but you have to process the data, sanitize it, anonymize it, transform it, and go through so many phases to prepare the data in the right way to train an AI model. And also when integrating this, depending on the use case, of course, to do as few changes as possible. So the right architecture proved essential and helped us to release the model very, very fast. If you're curious about this, and if you're curious about how an AI would assess you, at this moment, beta is live. I highly encourage all of you to go on pentalog.com and or using this short link I've put here and test your capabilities, and you'll get the results by beta. Okay, we are in our last 5 minutes. So I'm so glad I managed to finish this and still have a spot for a Q&A session. I also have some closing remarks, so I don't think we can take that many questions to fit in the 4 minutes remaining. But I hope you found this quite useful, and if you have any questions, now would be the time. I'm looking in this and I already see some questions. So first question, if it's not covered in the session already, how do you feel about AGI? How would you define it, and should be expected to be released soon? Also, do you see use cases of AI applications in finance? Okay, I will tackle this two separately. So, well, yeah, AGI, as I said, artificial general intelligence. I think it's the most desired thing right now by both businesses and consumers. I would define this by a model being capable to produce human-like results on complex problems. And this means where the model has also human-like capabilities, such as seeing, talking, hearing, even moving, for this AI to be actually able to take human-like complex tasks. I don't know how soon we could see, honestly, something like this to be released. The most advanced project we have at the moment in this is the one I also put in this presentation, is Microsoft's Jarvis, which basically uses Hugging Face, Hugging GPT, which is not necessarily a GPT, but more like a workflow that Jarvis incorporates, and also by itself builds somewhat of an aggregator. trying to take a prompt and determine the most appropriate model to use to satisfy, or models to use to satisfy that prompt or bits of that prompt. And this is basically what AGI will be, at least at the moment. It will be an aggregator of many independent, very specific models that do only something and do it very well. And this AGI system will only try to parse the current task and identify the right models who can do it, then pass this over to those models, parse their or transform their results, and communicate it further. When it will be released, this I can't tell, but I do expect a groundbreaking release in AGI somewhat soon this year, especially of how much big companies such as Microsoft invest into this. Regarding use cases of AI application in finance, yes, there are many, and they are not new. In finance, it's one of the oldest sectors where AI is used. There are, I know, cases since 2016-17 where it produced good results in finance. I would say that the latest application is Bloomberg GPT, where Bloomberg actually created their own GPT and trained it on vast amounts of financial data with the scope to predict and act on financing decisions easier. And actually, Bloomberg also have the largest data set on this. So I do expect the model to be quite good. I haven't used it yet, honestly, but it is released and it is available, although only for businesses and with quite huge prices, but the return may be also big. As a personal parenthesis in this, I'm afraid about hallucinations in these domains because it can bring quite a huge impact, but I do encourage it to be used, only safe. Okay, I'm already 2 minutes over. I will take maybe 2 more questions, and then I would also like to go to the closing remarks. Okay, so next from Sorin. Sorin Kostyuk. Mine is more of an ethical question. We are definitely intelligent enough to create an AI, but we are smart enough to use it. Historically, any major technological leap actually reduced the intelligence of people, not enhanced it, and it's very wrong to think we have a higher intelligence than ancient Egyptians 4,000 years ago. Smarter, yes, but arguably less intelligent. Also good science fiction to make us understand how AI may be used is Origins by Dan Brown, because not all people have good intentions. Also follow up on Alan's idea, shouldn't AI be built with ethics specialists? So I don't want to pronounce myself about the rest, but regarding ethics, yes, this is my closing remark. This is what I want to say in the closing remarks, because I do also believe that AI safety is quite important, and for how big it grew to be and the potential it has, it's still a highly unregulated market. But there are more and more experts talking on the subject lately, and I know a few, and they are quite amazing. I think some of them, or some of you, also joined us today, and I thank them for this, and also encourage them to answer about ethics, because they may be more appropriate than me. But I do believe it's quite important, and I know for sure that is being worked on, and there are many important figures who got involved into this, from President Biden in the US to the European Commission, and they said even Italy banned ChatGPT. And there are some laws that are being worked on right now regarding AI ethics and regulations. I don't want to pronounce myself about the rest. Thank you for the recommendations. So 4 Regions by Dan Brown, it's indeed quite good. About intelligence, I don't want to pronounce myself about this. But thank you for your input, and I hope my answer is satisfying your question. Okay, and the last question. Can you please paste the list of recommended free courses for learning about AI? Yes, of course. Yes, of course, this video is recorded and it will be published on YouTube, and you will all get a link to the video and everything in it. So yes, you will have access to all the links in this presentation. Okay, I'm 5 minutes past, and I want to also tell you about the closing remarks. So because I consider it quite important and regarding AI safety, and I will start by saying that never, ever, ever share sensitive data with any AI model or any AI platform without explicitly being approved by your company to do so, or instructed by your company to do so. Ask your company what you are allowed to share and what you aren't allowed to share, and have it approved on a case-by-case basis explicitly by the responsible entity from your company. You don't want to face serious issues. You don't want to jeopardize your company's information. There were leakages in the past. Look at the Samsung case where they shared data on ChatGPT and it got leaked. So it's a serious concern. Use it personally for what you want. Use it for the job for what you want, but have it be approved by your company that you are allowed to share that information. Now, to the engineering leaders and the DPOs in the audience, the same emphasis I'll put to establish proper governance practices for using AI systems inside your companies. If you're not comfortable to touch this, bring experts. There are many amazing experts. Contact me. I can recommend some of them in this domain, but don't postpone it. The AI revolution is happening right now. If you look at the growth rate of ChatGPT is bigger than by a lot than anything it was ever before. So be sure that your employees will use it, even if you don't. Encourage them to do it safe and establish the right practices from this. So this is not meant to stop anyone from anything. Foster innovation, creativity, enhance your business, but do it safely. So, thank you all for joining us today. I do hope that you got some valuable information from here. You will get the video link and everything. I encourage you to, you can follow me on LinkedIn. I frequently post there about AI tools and everything about AI, so we can stay connected there. Follow Pentalog and Pentalog blog, where we also, me and my colleagues, post many amazing things about AI, and not only there. And I would kindly appreciate if you could take a minute and leave feedback about this event. How did it feel for you? Did you learn anything from here? What would you have done different, or what would you like to learn in a future event? And we may take it into account and build this event for you. Thank you very much. I wish you an exciting journey into the world of AI and stay curious. Thank you.